The Logan Power Show. Welcome, everybody.
The Logan Power Show. The Logan Power Show. The Logan Power Show.
He is phenomenal.
The Logan Power Show.
We're here to empower you and impact
The Logan Power Show. The Logan Power Show.
It'll be a great show.
He is phenomenal. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Logan Power Show. That is powerful. That's phenomenal. That is powerful. That's phenomenal. The Logan Power Show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan, live here at The Point in North Charleston, South Carolina. Well, I got with me a lady who is faith, impactful. God's been really good to her. She's going to talk about the foundation that she started and why she started this foundation. And her story is very heartfelt, and I know you guys are going to be very inspired. And so all those that are watching, let's get to know more about this great lady, Miss Monica Jefferson, from the founder of the Malcolm C. Jefferson Foundation to Fight Against Violence. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing fine.
How's everything?
They're going pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm gonna do less of the talking. Let's tell us more about yourself. Tell us about who is Monica Jefferson.
Monica Jefferson is the mother of Malcolm C. Jefferson II and Sandra Jefferson. I am the founder of my son's foundation, the Malcolm C. Jefferson II Foundation, the Fight Against Violence. I am an advocate who I go out and I speak volumes on the murders that are going on in the communities and try to get more people involved as far as what's going on in the community, because we as mothers, we have to get out there and speak to these children and let them know what they do as far as killing each other is nonsense. And we need to come together as a village to more or less bring our children back to where we used to have them, and somehow educate them and letting them know the harm that they cause not only on my family but so many other families, including their own.
Okay. Definitely, mothers and fathers definitely need to speak. Tell us about your son, about how, what led to him passing on, so people get to know more about who your son is as a person, so they get a better understanding of this great foundation.
Yes, my son Malcolm had just graduated from West Ashley High School that July. He had registered for Trident Technical College, which he was supposed to have been starting that January because he wanted to be an entrepreneur, which he was well on his way. His father is a mechanic, and he was interested in electronics, and those were things that he'd already done. So he just wanted to go to Trident Technical College to be certified so that he could continue his aspirations on being an entrepreneur. It was my son's 18th birthday. He left home October 7th, went out with some friends of his, and as they were riding around along the night, somehow or another they ended up at an establishment over on Forbes Avenue. The establishment is a well-known gambling area. So my son went there with his friend. When they got there, his friend told me that he asked my son if he wanted to go inside of the building. My son told him no, he did not want to go inside, that he would just stay outside and talk on his cell phone until he was ready to leave. As my son did that, he stayed on his cell phone talking and everything. From my understanding, our car drove up, and he was on one side of his automobile with his hoodie on, talking on his phone. There were no street lights. The neighbors didn't have on any porch lights, so the area was very, very dark. As these people approached, my son, I guess, wanting to see who it was that had driven up, came from behind his truck to see who these people were. They jumped out of the car, and rather than looking at who the person is that they were shooting, they just went ahead and shot him and looked at him later on when they found out who it was. Apparently, from my understanding, the detectives told me they were there to rob the place that afternoon. My son just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. So after that, I got the phone call that no mother ever wants to receive. And that was on October 8th. I got the phone call saying that Malcolm had been shot. And I couldn't believe it. At first, I didn't understand what the caller was saying to me. And I was like, Malcolm? I said, what Malcolm are you talking about? And she says, Malcolm. And I said, LJ. I affectionately called my son LJ. And she said, yes. I hung up the phone and I went into his room, and I didn't see him because I knew he wasn't in there, because my son is the only teenager I know that ever put himself on a curfew. You know, he would go out places, and when he would come home 11:30, 12 o'clock, he's knocking on my bedroom door, Mama, wake up, wake up. And I'm like, LJ, what do you want? I just want you to know I'm home. Go back to sleep now. You know, that's the type of person that he was.
Yes, ma'am.
He had not done that night, so I knew he was not at home.
Yes, ma'am.
So instantly, I went and I called his cell phone. And when I called the cell phone and did not receive an answer, then I kind of felt something was going wrong because he didn't answer his phone. So at that point, I sort of got a little hysterical. And once my mom and my husband calmed me down and tried to allow me to get the words out of my mouth what was going on, then we found out where it was supposed to have been that he was shot. And it was the Maryville, Ashleyville area.
Gotcha.
We went out there not knowing that Maryville and Ashleyville are two different subdivisions, so we went to the wrong place. And my husband called a friend of his that was a former police officer and told him about the shooting. And he called to the city police department and he got the correct address. So we went out there. By the time I got out there, my son was already on his way to Medical University. So we got onto Medical University and we sat there, and while sitting there, there were like millions of people. I don't know where these people were coming from. I didn't know half of them that were just flooding the emergency room. So I just sat there and I saw this guy walking towards me, and he had the paper in his hand, and he says, the family of Malcolm Jefferson? And I looked at him and I said, I'm his mother. And as he walked closer to me, I looked at his name tag and it said chaplain. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking like, well, why is he coming to talk to me? You know, and he just started asking me just basic questions such as his name, age, and birth date. When he said birth date, I looked at him and it just struck me at that moment. I said, his birth date is October 8th, 1995. I said, my baby just turned 18. And he just looked at me and he shook his head. And he looked around, he said, are all these people with you? And I looked around and I didn't know them. At that point, I think I was in a daze. I was just already in my own world. And I looked at him and I said, I guess so, I don't really know. And he said, well, let's go into another room where we have some more privacy. So as we went into that room, we sat there and waited for a while. And then I saw the same gentleman come back. And this time he had the doctor with him, the nurse, and some police officers. So I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, they're gonna come and tell me my child is in the intensive care unit, my child is this, and I'm thinking all these things besides death. So he comes over to me, and the words that he said to me are words that are forever embedded in my brain. he came to me and he put his hands on my shoulders and he said, Miss Jefferson, your son Malcolm came in today with multiple gunshot wounds. We tried every effort to sustain his life, but was unsuccessful. I'm sorry to tell you that your son Malcolm has gone home to be with Jesus. At that point, I heard the screams around me, and I'm just sitting there looking, not understanding what this man has just told me.
Yes, ma'am.
So I looked at him and I said, what did you just say to me? And he says, I'm so sorry. And it still was not registering that he just told me my son died. So as people were just going, they were just going crazy around me. I'm just still sitting there looking at everyone, still in my mind asking, why are they doing this? Why are they acting like this? And so for the third time, I looked at him again and I said, are you trying to tell me that my son is dead? And he says, I'm so sorry. I said, but he said, I think he was dead before he even got here. And I believe that's the last words I heard that doctor tell me. And of course, going through that week, it was really rough.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, and finally understanding when the detectives come over and they come and tell you that your child has been shot and the people that did this have not been caught.
Yes, ma'am.
Up to the day, they have not arrested who did this to my son. And this is why his foundation came into play.
Yes.
Because I wanted to, even though this case, it's been 2 years and this case has not been solved, I wanted everyone to know that my son Malcolm did exist. My son Malcolm had plans and aspirations that I know he was going to reach. My son was the type of person, I used to always tell him he was a young person with an old soul. You know, he was very giving. If there was anything that you asked him for and he did not have it, he would come back to his mom and dad and say, I need this for whatever reason there is. But he would try his best to do what it is to help anyone.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's what his foundation is about. It's all about giving. Through Malcolm's foundation, I have been able to, last year, feed 2 families for Thanksgiving, supply them with the whole dinner, gave them all the works, gave it to him on behalf of the Jefferson Foundation. I was able to adopt families at Christmas to buy Christmas gifts that they normally wouldn't be able to buy their children on behalf of his foundation. I have been making donations to the homeless. You know, whenever they're out there, if I'm not there, I make sure the donation is there to help feed the homeless or do whatever necessary for them. And again, as Thanksgiving comes around, we plan on doing the same thing again as far as giving back to the community. Anyone that's in need, I usually try to tell people, let me know what it is they need. My son's foundation is there. That's the purpose of it. Whatever I can do, then that's what I want to do to help, because that's what he would want to do.
Well, it sounds to me that your son was, you would say, like, you know, for me, mother's tell me all the time, I'm a young person, I have an old spirit myself. Mm-hmm. And my father was the kind of person that they instilled into me to have a 20th century and 21st century mindset at the same time. It sounds to me that your son, as they would say, probably knew his calling at an early age. Mm-hmm. And that explains the kind of love he got at the hospital, because when an emergency room overflows for one person, that's when you touch more souls than you actually thought. You say, I don't know these people. I pray that the individuals who just something that was very malice, because I feel it's a spirit. I know that a lot of times, you know, this violence is going on. It's happening all the time. People say, when is it going to stop? Well, you know, it's going to come through prayer. I believe Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, is one of the things, you know. That's the only thing. You got to mend the heart. You know, going from Los Angeles, California, I can tell people all the time that gangs was a choice factor. A different thing you either choose or not to choose. I truly believe your son not going inside to do the wrong thing, to gamble, and choose to stay outside to be on the phone. He made a choice. I believe that choice that he made, nothing wrong with it. I know that you're very courageous to stay here. It's been 2 years, October the 8th. I call it a natural holiday.
Yes.
Because a great man, I call him a man, doesn't matter like, he's 17 or 18 at the time, he had a call in his life. And I truly believe this foundation would be a blessing to anybody who would decide to give to it or to support it. And so that's why I brought you on the show. I'm willing to, me on my behalf, is to partner you with certain people who can definitely help you move forward.
Right.
And you got a glow about yourself that I know that your daughter, your husband, your family can say that she's stronger than most. And the part that got me is that, I'll be quite honest, I never heard his story until now. And that's the part that we as a community have to get to the point that we get to actually tell about the story. This is not unless someone makes it to the national stage, you never know about, man, this young man has passed away.
Right.
He was that young. He went to West Ashley High School. My brother went to West Ashley High School.
Mm-hmm.
He graduated last year. My sister went to West Ashley High School. So I know that you decided to do this foundation. Now, I know this must have been God-led because, a lot of people that's watching would say, why would you start a foundation and the pain is still so deep? And you're still doing it, and you're still saying, hey, the people who did the wrong thing justice will be served. So the biggest thing I would say is that I know your son would want you to do that. How hard was it for you to start the foundation?
Actually, it wasn't really that hard. After the dust had settled a little, after my son's passing, it just came to me. I just thought, what is it that I could do? Because I have to allow people to know that my son, they may not see him in the bodily form, but his spirit is still here. It exists. He still exists in me. He still exists in me. So therefore, I have to allow him to work through me. And I just sat there and I just brainstormed so many different things. And I'm like, LJ was all about giving. He loved to help people. And I said, that's what it is. I said, I will start a foundation and allow it to be something to give back to the community, which is something that he wanted to do. And also, along with the foundation, I could be an advocate on his part and speak out to the children and everybody in the community about all the violence that's going on, and figure out a way how we could help. We may not be able to stop all of the murders, but in my quest, if I could save one mother from crying, I feel as though my job has been done.
That's a very commendable for you. I think that any mother, any father, I'm a father myself. I have 3 kids. Me and my wife been married 10 plus years. I can testify, like, violence is real. Coming from where I come from, it's like an everyday story telling on the news station. When my mother's from Chicago, Illinois, that's like going to a fast food restaurant. It happens. It's not really televised as much unless you're actually there. But I pray that people do come to you. I pray that the people that have seen wrong speak out. Because I've always said this, what's done in the dark always comes to the light.
Yes.
There's always somebody knows something.
Yes.
Somebody knows who did what and how they did it. And that's the thing, all you can do is pray about it and ask God to give you the answers you need. But I really appreciate you coming on the show to talk more about your foundation. Now, what is it you would like to see happen, like these next 3 to 5 years? Where you envision the Malcolm C. Jefferson II Foundation going?
I would like it to, I try my best to put it out there to embroad as much of South Carolina as it can. I would like it to be where I can have something in Columbia built up under his name, where I could have different areas, not only me running the Charleston, but allow someone else to do it widespread. And it's all about giving. It's all about giving for me as far as him. And I just want to spread the love.
Definitely. So for those that want to get in contact with Mrs. Jefferson, the information is on the screen. Really, the biggest thing I can tell you right now is partner up with people that are doing great things. That's why we bring them here to the Logan Power Show. Organizations that are making a difference, they're not looking on the circumstance, but looking for, solutions, real solutions. And that we do pray that, people do come from the north, south, east, and west to help the vision, and they take and they run with it. But I will let you get the floor, get your last thoughts in of what you would like people to know more, what you'd like to tell people that's watching right now to inspire them that are watching this moment. What would you tell somebody who's a parent who has lost a child, or a person who may have seen their friend's life been taken, or a person that may have taken a life and then they're back in society? What would you tell that person right now that's watching this current time?
I would tell them the first thing you have to do is pray. Prayer is the only thing that's going to get you through it all. I would ask you, as far as mothers are concerned, we need to link up with each other because we're all fighting the same battle. As far as the people out there that have answers to the questions that are needed to solve cases of murdered children, I ask that you not be afraid to come forward and speak. As they always say, sometimes you just have to step out on faith. You just have to do it. As far as the people that has some sort of responsibility for murdering my son, whether it was something intentional or whether it was something unintentional, I do pray for you. I cannot say that 100% that I'm going to sit here and say that I'm not angry with you, because I am, but I do want you to come forward. I pray for you each and every day. I ask God to please lighten your heart and give you enough strength to come forward and face what it is that you have done. If you're going to go out there and you're going to pull the trigger and you believe that you're so boastful and man enough to do that, then don't be a coward and hide behind the gun. Come forward and say what it is that needs to be said to solve my son's crime and the many other crimes that are out there. Give us the relief that we need as parents to help us move on from the tragedy that has been caused in our life. We just need peace.
We definitely need peace, and I thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, definitely. And for those that are watching, keep in mind, God is here. God is in the midst. And we claim that, whatever wrong has been done, that you come forward. We detach every angel sent forth on assignment to bring to justice what needs to be done for those that have been affected by this, and those that have been affected that we don't know stories about. We know that two wrongs don't make a right. And we know this also, that justice will be served. You may not get caught now, but conviction is such a key thing. And we want you to understand this, that God is always watching. Forgiveness is key, but understand this, justice needs to be served. For those who know about this case, if you know who did it, come forward. For those who are watching that may be the ones who've done the wrong, come forward. Peace is what is needed here. And like I said, we want peace to be done. But that's all the time I got. My name is Calvin Logan with the Logan Power Show. We love you, we appreciate you, and we'll see you on next week.
That's phenomenal.